Hello guys, I'm Eli Tutor. So today we are going to be looking at JAM 2026 Physics on topic calculations on coplanar forces. Alright, so we are going to be solving this question. So I want you to pay full attention. So after you watch and you can replay again, pause so you can digest and understand the concept. If you have any problem or any question that is disturbing your mind, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section as I'm going to respond to every incoming questions. Alright, click on the subscribe button if you are new on this page. Just click on the subscribe button. Subscription is free. Then give us a like and share our video. Thank you. Alright, so now moving on to these questions. So this is a question based on the coplanar forces. So they said calculate the resultant of the five coplanar forces of values 10 Newton, 12 Newton, 16 Newton, 20 Newton, 15 Newton acting on an object at what? At the origin. This is the origin as shown below. So now we're going to be solving this question. Alright. Now looking at this, so before you can be able to solve for resultant, you should be able to know how to calculate for your horizontal component and vertical component. So we have to sum up the horizontal component. Here I have my horizontal component as this summation, then f subscript x to be my horizontal component, because you know graphically this is our what? X axis. So let me just do it like this. Graphically this is x axis, alright, and this is the y axis. So this is the y axis, this is the x axis. So another thing is that this is the positive for x axis. From here to this place we have the positive value. From this origin to this side we have the negative value for x axis. And for the y axis, from this origin side to the narrow end here, so we have the positive for y axis, and this is the what? The negative for your y axis. Alright, so sorry, pardon me for using hand. I think I have. Alright, so now back to the horizontal component. Now look at this. Now let me tell you something. I've talked about the positions and the signs, the plus and the negative. So now, whenever you want to solve problems like this, so always make sure you start from the equator. The equator is the horizontal and the axis of the earth is the vertical. Reference to longitudinal axis in mathematics. That's not the case. So, and another thing is always make sure you start from the east. You start from the east anti-clockwise. Whenever you want to calculate for components, you start from the east anti-clockwise. What do I mean by anti-clockwise? When something goes this direction is anti-clockwise. When something goes this direction, reading like this is clockwise. No stress. Alright, we shall prove it. Let's move on. Now I'm going to kick off from this side. Remember I said you should always start from here anytime you want to calculate for your component. So now I want to start with the horizontal component. So here I am having 10. Sure, you understand. So now, but any angle what angle are you going to use? Now we want to solve for horizontal component. What angle are you going to use for anything horizontal? Anything horizontal like this. So equator literally is 0 degree. Go back to your longitudinal attitude. You understand what I'm saying? So any angle you want to use for the one on the vertical, you use 90 degree. So let's just say that for the horizontal, you use 0 degree. For the vertical line, you use 90 degree. Take note of that. So another thing you have to take note of is that anytime you are talking about horizontal components, so you use what we call cosine. That's cos theta. So your cos theta goes for what? Horizontal. But for your vertical, your sin theta goes for vertical components. So reference to vector. Vector talks about that. So you use sine for vertical, you use cos for horizontal. Vector discussed about that. Alright, now let me be applying all these conditions I've stated. Now starting from this east anti-clockwise, like I said. So we're having 10 here. What will be we are going to be having 10. 10 cos is 0 degree. The component for this side is going to be 10 cos 0 degree. I told you that anything that is straight line like horizontal like this, the angle you use is 0 degree. I'm going to be using 10 cos 0 degree. So remember we are dealing with horizontal components. Don't forget horizontal component. So you must be very conscious of the sign. So ask yourself, this horizontal here, is it positive or negative? It is positive. So that's why I'm not putting anything here. I can decide to put plus 10 cos 0 there, and it's not necessary I put the plus there. So be conscious of the sign as well. Now we are done with this guy. So let's move on to this guy here. So here we are having 12 cos what? Is it going to be plus or minus? Because I'm doing it horizontally, it's this plus. So we are still going to be using plus. Plus what? 12 cos 50 degree. Because it is 50 degrees, you use the angle that is attached with the horizontal, whether you are dealing with vertical component or horizontal component. So, do we still have any value here? No. So, we can move on. We are going anti-clockwise. So, here we are having 20 what? 20 cos 40. Now, but the horizontal here is negative. So, it's going to be plus into bracket minus 20 cos 40 minus 20 cos 40 degree. So it's having minus because the horizontal here is minus. Do you understand? So that is the reason why we are having minus here. Alright, so what's the cover of this? So now, thank you. We are done with this guy here. So do we have any value here? No, we don't have. So we have to move to this guy. So this guy here, we are still finding the horizontal components here. So this one is going to be 16. So the horizontal here is negative, right? So since the horizontal here is negative and you are using the value for this one to satisfy this case, so that will be 16 what? Plus 16 cos 90 degrees. Is that clear? So now, do you still have any value? We still have 15 here. So using 15, is it going to be 15 cos 30? No, it's wrong. I told you that anytime you want to use angle, whether for vertical component or horizontal component, the angle you use must be attached to the horizontal. That is the rule. So we have to subtract this guy from 90, then to have what? To have 50. To have 60 here. So which means we are going to use 15 cos 60 because the horizontal here is positive. So we are going to be having plus 15 cos 60 degree. I think we're done. So let's check carefully if there's no error. Alright, this is settled, this is settled. Alright, this is settled, this is settled. So now here we go. We are having that 10 into cos 0 is 1 plus 12 into, let's check for cos 50. Cos 50. So cos 50 is 0.6427. Alright, minus 20 into cos 40 is 0.7660 plus 16 cos 90 is 0. Alright, so you can see cos 90 is 0. So plus cos 60 is 0.5. Cos 60 is the same thing as sin 30. Alright, here we are having 10 here. We are having 10 here. 10 plus 12 multiplied by 0.6427, 7.7124 minus 20 multiplied by 0.7660. So we are having 15.32 plus 7. This one is going to be 7.5. Alright, so let's add it up. So 10 plus 7.7124 minus 15.32 plus 7.5. So we are having at the end of the day 9.8924. So which is approximately equal to plus 9.89 Newton. So we have already gotten the value for our horizontal component. Now let's move on to our vertical component. It's very easy. vertical component. So our vertical component says summation of what? Fy. So vertical is y. So that's why it's having f subscript y is equals to. Now we are starting from here again. Don't forget I said that for vertical you are using sine. Alright? For vertical you are using sine. So here let's start with this guy. So this is going to be 10 sine 50. Okay? So don't forget whether we are solving for vertical component or horizontal component, we use the angle that is attached with the horizontal. Imagine they give you a value here, so we have to subtract for 90 to get the one that we attach here. But they have given us direct, so we use it direct. That will be 10 what? 10. Another question you ask yourself that the vertical here is it positive or negative? It is positive. So that's plus 10 sine 50. So it's not necessary to put the plus. 10 sine 50. I wonder why this marker is not working. Maybe it's not thinking of also do. That's 10 sine 50 degree plus. Now we are having 12 here, so it's still positive for vertical here. That way 12 sine 50, 12 sine 50 degree plus. Alright, we're done. So we move here. So this is 20. This one here is still positive for vertical. That will be 20 sine 40. 20 sine 40 degree. Now we don't have any value here, so we use the guy here. Right? Oh, I'm very sorry, there's a mistake here. It's supposed to be 10 sine 0. Because I said anything equator should be 0 degrees. So we are using 0. Sorry. For this side. Anything on the straight line. The one on the vertical like this is 90. So now we are done with this guy. 20 sine 40. So we are moving on to this guy. So this thing here, the vertical here is negative. So we have to apply the condition. It's negative, so it's going to be negative. So that will be plus into minus what? 16 sine 90. Don't forget anything on the vertical is 90. So for the last part here, we're having the last part here. So this one is going to be, is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative because the vertical line here is negative, so it's applicable. That'll be 15 plus what? Plus into bracket minus 15 sine 60 degree. That's so now we now have sine 0 is 0 plus 12 into, let's check for sine 50. Sine 50 is 0.7660 plus 20 into sine 40. Sine 40 is 0.6428. Then plus 16 into 90 is, I think I make a mistake here. So 16 sine 90 is supposed to be negative, sorry. Correct that. Minus 16 sine 90 because the vertical here is negative, so it's applicable. So this is going to be minus now. Plus and minus is minus. So 16 into sine 90 is 1. Minus, right? This is minus, don't forget. Sine 60, that's 15 into 0.8660. Alright, so this one we are having is 0 plus, let's multiply. 12 multiplied by 0. This is 7, 0.7660. That is 9.192 plus 20 multiplied by 0.6428. That's 12.856 minus 16 minus 15 multiplied by 0.8660. That's 12.99. So here we are having 9.192 plus 12.856 minus 16 minus 12.99 minus 28.99. So now let's trade up. 9.192 plus 12.856 minus 28.99. Okay. Are we able to get this? There's a mistake here. I'm coming. So 9.192 plus 12.856 minus 28.99. This is minus 6.942. So approximately minus 6.94 Newton. So this is our vertical component. So don't forget that they asked us to calculate the resultant. So now, for us to calculate the resultant here, so I think I will be clearing this question since we're done with this guy. Now, calculating the resultant. So resultant formula, resultant R is equals to square root of summation of fx squared plus summation of fy squared. You can attend our physical class for you to understand how we came about this formula. It has a derivation. So straight up, just know this formula and be able to apply it. So you're having R is equals to square root of, what do we get for the we have got 9.89 squared plus into brackets. What do we get for this? Minus 6.94 squared. So we have the square root of 9.89 times 9.89. So we're having 97.8121 plus negative squared is plus positive. So 6.94 times 6.94. So we're having 48.1636. Is that correct? So now 48.1636 plus 97.8121. So we're having square root of 145.9757. So square root of this guy, we end up having what? 12.0820. So which is approximately 12.08 Newton. That's our resultant. So suppose that you are asked to find direction. You know, most times if they give you questions in JAM, they will ask you to calculate for resultant. But at the end of the day, if you look at the options, you will find out that they are going to give you a direction there. So how do we go about the direction? You understand? So you can know the right option to pick. Alright. So I'll clean this guy now. Now from these guys, you'll be able to calculate the direction. You don't go far at all. You understand? So don't mind my language. Alright, so my potential meaning. So now, for direction now, let's calculate for direction. Now calculate for direction, we are having this guy. Now, you know that for this place, x is positive here, Abi, and for this place we are having positive value. Definitely we are getting the first magnitude. Right? So that means this now, for this y negative, this is negative for y here, right? Definitely our diagram should look like this. Right? So since this side is negative for y, so we are having 6.94 Newton. It's not necessary for you to put this negative here because this sign is carrying has already shown what we are, the picture we are having. It is obvious, making it obvious. So don't be so dumb to be putting this sign. So that's good. So we are having for this side, we are having 9.89 Newton. So good. So now you drag your magnitude here. Okay. So you are closing this guy. But regardless, you are having something here. You are having, let's suppose this place to be theta and this side to be alpha. You understand? So if you are having, alright, the arrow is pointing this side, so which means the arrow is pointing here, and the arrow for this side is showing through this direction since they are equal and parallel. Alright, parallel and equal to each other. No law of vectors. So if this guy, these two arrows come like this one will close the case like this. Alright, so which surfaces that are going to be having something like this at the end of the day. This guy. So let's find our theta before we can find this guy. So 9.89 Newton, and this one is 6 point. This is equal to this side, and this is equal to this side. 6.94 Newton. So our opposite here is what? Our opposite is 6 point what? 9.94 Newton, and our adjacent is 9.89 Newton. So our angle is unknown. So from the rule of SOHCAHTOA, it is obvious that we are going to be using tan. So we are going to be using tan theta is equals to 2 and opposite over adjacent, which implies that tan theta is equals to, our opposite is what? Our opposite is this guy. So what give us this guy? Fy. Summation of Fy over summation of Fx. Alright, so sorry, I'm going to be cleaning this. I think it's well explained how I came about that. So now, tan theta equals to summation of Fy over summation of Fx, right? Fy over Fx. So that's tan theta equals to, what do we get for this opposite? Because 6.94 divided by 9.89, isn't it? So 6.94 divided by 9.89. So we are ending up to be having tan theta equals to 0.7017. So theta equals to tan inverse 0.7017. So what was the tan inverse? 0.7017. So we're having what? Theta to be equals to 35.06 degrees. So we're not done. Alright. So it's very well clear understood from here. So we now have to get this one. So note that this plus this make up 90. So alpha plus theta is equal to 90 degrees complementary angle sum of 90 degrees. So that's alpha plus 35.0 degrees is equal to 90 degrees. So alpha equals to 90 degrees minus 35.06. So 90 minus 35.06. So we're having what? Alpha to be equals to 54.94 degrees. Alright, so that's what we are doing. So which implies that, so if you are not going to call this, so you will now call it in the sense that, don't forget that this one is north, east, south, and west. But here we have only this side. This is where we have here, right? So how are you going to call this? So what are you having as alpha here? That will be south what? So our resultant at the end of the day, this is the direction. Our direction is south. South what? What do you get for alpha? 54.94 degree. South 54.94 degree east. South this degree this east. So you now conclude it here that the resultant is equal to, if they give you an option. Initially what we got for our resultant was 12.08. Yeah. That will be resultant, comma, direction, right? Which is equal to 12.08 Newton, comma, south 54.94 degree east. These are our final answer for our resultants. And you might be lucky, most times they will not put this guy there. So they will put this guy there, but most cases in JAMB, they will put the direction there. They want you to calculate for both the direction and the resultant. So that is how it was. So I'm going to drop the exercise here. So you are going to solve it for me and drop the answer, the solution, without using AI. You drop it in the comment section. And if there's anything bothering you, look around this video. You're going to see my number there. Don't hesitate to text me. And don't forget, we run admission into any kind of university, whether your JAMB score is low or not, from any state at all. So don't panic. We are an admission expert. I will tell you the right thing to do. And we have classes going on in Ibadan and Abeokuta. And we also run online classes depending on your choices. I will give you the best and quality service. So now I'm going to write down the question you're going to solve for me. All right. Okay. We have four forces act as shown below. Calculate the resultant. Alright, so this is a question. So I want you to find the force that acts. So find the force that acts on this guy, and at the end of the day, I also want you to calculate the direction. Alright, so I have this question for you. So don't do and solve the question, practice it. Watch the video over again, we are not clear with it. So it said four forces act as shown below, calculate the resultant. So when you calculate the resultant, also try to calculate for the direction so you can understand the concept very well. So I believe that this video was able to help your knowledge. So then you can drop a comment in the comment section if you find it helpful. Share to your friends. Let's go viral. Please don't download straight. Watch it finish. That's the only way you can acknowledge what I'm doing. Watch before you download and tell your friends to subscribe and also watch as well. God bless you guys. I like it.